At the beginning of the episode, another goddess appears to Nolan, who asks her, "What exactly are you planning?" Because she had given Takumi a special body, along with her blessing. Not only that, this goddess uses a summoning spell to send Takumi back 1 year in time. Nolan then says that she did this on purpose, but she definitely saw something special inside Takumi. Meanwhile, for some reason, Takumi was scolding Maple, and we see that when he was asleep, Maple had completely wrapped him in her web. Now, Maple apologizes to him, saying that she's been very busy for a long time, and Takumi hasn't been spending time with her. So she tied him up. Takumi admits that it was his fault, because he got a bit too busy making potions and everything else. Then he apologizes to Maple and says, "Today, I'm taking the day off, and we will play together all day." Hearing this, Maple becomes very happy and starts playing with him. But just then, Marta arrived and was quite surprised to see Takumi. Takumi told her, "Don't be afraid, it's not trying to eat me." Then, seeing the threads that Maple had made, a strange smile appeared on Marta's face. After that, Marta showed her friends a shirt she had made from Maple's silk. Takumi couldn't understand what was so special about it. Marta then explained that spider silk is a luxurious material, something only the elite can afford. She then asked Maple to make more threads, but this time, a little stretchier than before. Takumi said that no one except Maple could understand her language. But when Marta started explaining things to her like she would to a child, Maple finally understood and began making the threads. Seeing this, Takumi was amazed and said to Maple, "Remember, we planned to play together." To which Maple replied, "I'm busy now. I don't have time to play." However, in a way, that was good for Takumi. After spending a month in that village, Takumi began thinking about going to the city to study more about alchemists and improve his skills. But everyone had treated him so well that he didn't know how to say goodbye. Meanwhile, Forge Bobbin had made armor for Takumi. Just then, Banga arrived, and Bobbin said, "After Takumi leaves, we will all feel so lonely." Takumi replied, "Wait, what are you saying?" They told him that they already knew he would leave soon, and they had even arranged a carriage for him. Takumi thanks them for all of this. Then, he goes to Marta, who was throwing away the inside parts of the rabbits. He explains that these parts are very tasty, but before cooking, they must be properly purified to remove all the bacteria. However, they don't have the right tools to do this, so they usually throw them away. Hearing this, Takumi uses his purification skills and tells Marta that now these parts can be eaten safely. Marta is quite surprised and says, "You can even use light magic? You're really amazing." She then adds, "It's good that you're showing your skills here in the village, but you shouldn't display them in front of outsiders. If others find out you have light magic, it could bring trouble for you." At that moment, Takumi decides to help the villagers even more and protect the village from the demons. After that, he starts creating many things in the village to make life easier for the villagers. A week passes, and a merchant arrives in the village with the carriage Takumi was supposed to take. The merchant is amazed to see all these changes in the village. Then, Banga introduces Takumi to the merchant, whose name is Pack, and explains that Pack owns a trading company in the city. Before leaving, Takumi tells Banga that he has many soaps, potions, and other items at his home, so they can use those if needed. Pack asks Takumi, "What exactly is this?" Takumi replies, "This is a healing potion, one I made myself." Seeing this, Pack is very surprised. Just then, the villagers arrive with Marta, bringing many things prepared for her departure. Takumi thanks them and says, "You have done so much for me. After I leave here, I will always remember you all." Then he bids farewell and begins to leave, thinking, "Since I was born into this world, in this village, it will always be my home." Meanwhile, the other people sitting in the carriage become emotional, watching the villagers and their love. A girl asks him, "Why are you crying? What happened here?" He answers, "You wouldn't understand, because your heart is like stone." Then he introduces himself as Hit, the bald man as Bogar, and the stone-hearted woman as Rail. Pack explains they are members of the C-class party called Lion Fang, and he is the one who hired them. But the guards are quite annoyed, because the journey has been peaceful, and they want someone to send a monster to attack Pack. Then they ask Takumi why he is holding Pack so tightly to his chest. Takumi says, "There's a killer spider inside me." Rail makes a strange face and looks at Maple, who immediately attacks Rail's face. Hit says to Maple, "You shouldn't tease him like that. Imagine if he attacked someone outside. What would happen?" But then they both see Maple sleeping next to Bogar. Afterward, Pac asks Takumi, "Do you want to sell your potions?" But just then, the carriage stops, and Takumi becomes scared, seeing so many goblins in front. The other adventurers say, "You don't have to worry." Pac also says, "You're right, nothing will happen to us," though deep down, he was still a little afraid. Meanwhile, the three of them easily fend off the goblin horde using their weapons. Some goblins approach the carriage, but Rail kills them all. After dealing with the goblins, the rest of their trip passes quite peacefully. 3 days later, they arrive at Bolton City, and Takumi goes to the Adventurers Guild because if he wants to stay in the city, he must register himself there. Takumi wanted to register at the Alchemist Guild, but there wasn't such a guild in the city. Then, a receptionist named Han tells Takumi that he should still register anyway. Han explains that the guild card can be used as a form of identification, and as long as he completes at least one quest each month, his card will remain valid. Takumi then registers at the guild and also registers Maple as his pet. A little later, Pac tells him that he has some soap potions. Pac gives Takumi 10 silver coins for healing and stamina potions, and 50 silver coins for mana potions. This amount feels huge to Takumi, because in his old world, it would have been worth around 7 million yen. Pac then says, "Sorry, I can't give you more than this because your name isn't very well known yet." Takumi liked all of this, though he felt maybe Pac was plotting something. But from his expression, it didn't seem like it. Then Pac asked Takumi, "Where will you stay? I know you want to set yourself up for production work, so why don't you get a house that has a workshop too?" Takumi replies, "No, I don't have enough money to buy a house right now." Pac says, "If you want to rent, my company can suggest a place for you." Then, a man named Thomas shows Takumi a mansion, which seemed very expensive to Takumi. But Thomas tells him that it only costs 1 gold coin and 50 silver coins. Hearing this, Takumi is very surprised and asks, "Is it really this cheap? There aren't any ghosts or anything, right?" To which Thomas replies, "No, there are no ghosts here." Next to that mansion, Takumi also sees a small house, which he can use as his workshop. Now Maple asks him, "Where are you?" Takumi answers, "We're at our new home." While walking down the street, Takumi says, "Since I came to this city, I've noticed a strange smell." In reply, he is told, "That smell is coming from the drains below. Here, the nobles use magical items to purify the water in the drains, but the rest of the townspeople cannot do this because those items are very expensive. So, from time to time, priests are hired to purify these drains, but most people just live with the smell." The next day, Takumi and Maple move into their new house. Now, Takumi says, "I already had some repairs to do for the wells, but now I have to make something that's a matter of life and death." After that, he spends the whole day working on it, using so much magic that he becomes dry and wooden again. Later, when he recovers, we see that the matter of life and death was actually a toilet. At this time, he hears someone screaming and rushes to find Maple tangled up with Pac. Maple says, "I was just entertaining him," to which Takumi replies, "What kind of entertainment is this? Only kids would be happy with that." Later, Takumi tells Pac that he has created a magical device that purifies water. This device lightens the water, and it becomes clean all by itself. The dirt gently settles to the bottom. Pac then asks, "Can you use light magic too?" Hearing this, Takumi thinks to himself, "Oh no, Martha told me never to reveal this to anyone." So he replies to Pac, "Can you keep it a secret?" Pac assures him, "All right, I won't tell anyone." Then Pac asks again, "Can you make 100 toilets?" Takumi answers, "Yes, it'll definitely take a lot of effort, but if I have the materials, I can make them." Pac says, "You can't do it alone. You need a slave to help you at home. Make a contract with them." Takumi pauses and starts thinking. Pac continues, "You have light magic. Maybe God chose you. Churches are always looking for someone with light magic. They can make money through healing magic." Takumi thinks, "If I make 100 toilets, they'll figure out I have light magic." Pac calmly says, "Don't worry, I have a plan. Step 1, hire a slave." Takumi isn't convinced, but suddenly his card begins to glow. It says, "To maintain your registration, you must complete a quest." To find out more, Takumi needs to go to the guild. That's when Takumi realizes he truly needs help. Pac then takes him to a slave trader, where Takumi is impressed by a beautiful garden. But suddenly he sees an angry elf girl who says to him, "You'd better go home." After that, they go to another slave trader named Malan. Malan explains that in this kingdom, slaves are well protected. Those under contract have rights. like food, clothing, shelter, and protection from harm. Milan says, once you make a contract, you cannot force your slave to work. Takumi starts to wonder, so much protection? Milan adds that people become slaves for various reasons. Debt, crime, or even as part of reformation. Takumi says he wants a slave who can help with missions and manage household chores. Milan replies, you may need 2 slaves. Then comes Marie, who was kidnapped by bandits as a child. She's good at math and knows housework. Takumi asks, can you handle all the chores alone? Marie answers, yes. Takumi compliments her beauty and asks how she can be acquired. Marie blushes. I'll just do housework, nothing else. Takumi replies, that's exactly what I want. But then she says, if needed, I can do other things too. Takumi insists again, no, I told you, just the housework. Milan says, you can make a contract with Marie, but the full slave isn't available right now. You'll have to come back later. Then Arya suggests Sophia, but Milan declines. Takumi goes to Sophia's room. Milan explains that she was captured during a war 50 years ago. Her right arm and left leg are weak, and her magical powers have been sealed. She's not suitable for combat. Still, Takumi wants to keep in touch with her. Sophia says, I won't be of any use to you. Takumi responds, leave everything to me. Milan, surprised, asks, can you repay a 50-year-old debt? Takumi confidently says, of course. Then Milan completes all the paperwork. Marie expresses her gratitude to Takumi for bringing Sophia along. The 3 of them create a magic circle and complete the contract. After that, they start calling Takumi Master. When Takumi returns home, Maple hugs him, scaring the girls. Takumi says, don't be afraid, it's just my belly. Then he gives them separate rooms and lets them use the large bathroom. Marie says, until now, no one who paid Milan has ever been accepted by him like this. But he accepted you. That means he's a good person. Sophia adds, there are a lot of missing details in this contract. I need to review it. After their bath, they come back to find Takumi cooking. Marie starts crying because cooking was supposed to be her job. Takumi says, it's your first day. I cooked today, but from now on, you'll do it. Sophia asks, will you eat with us? Takumi answers, yes. Even if you're slaves, you don't need to act differently. They say, all right, master. Takumi smiles and says, the word master sounds strange to me. Just call me by my name. Pack brings all the ordered supplies. On the roadside, Takumi sees a church with a statue of goddess Nolan. He walks up and gives thanks. At that moment, the goddess appears and says, there are 2 religions in this world, Church of Creation and Church of Divine Light. The Church of Creation worships me, goddess Nolan. The Church of Divine Light formed later, worshipping a god who doesn't even exist. The Sindonia Empire supports the Church of Divine Light and works against the Church of Creation. That's why people have been forced to use sonic spells. The goddess apologizes. As you grow stronger, new challenges will come. My blessings will begin to fade. Takumi thinks, so then, why did I meet such good people? Because he had the blessing of the goddess. Now, his life depends solely on his own choices. Then we see a scene 1 year later. The king of the Sidonia Empire, Weber, asks about the heroes' training. They respond, they're still not ready. We then see Akira and Yamao training under their mentors, but Akka isn't with them, and Wayo doesn't like her. Elizabeth explains that this isn't cruelty, but a way to strengthen them so they can protect their nations. On his way back home, Takumi falls because of Maple. His items scatter everywhere. Sophia was about to pick them up, but Takumi opens his item box and stores them inside. Sophia grows suspicious. What is Takumi hiding? Later, when Takumi is working on alchemy, Sophia sees him cutting his hand and healing it over and over. Sophia asks, will Maria help me with this? But she panics. What are you doing with Maria? I won't let you. Sophia faints from exhaustion. Takumi heals her, though her curse makes the healing slower. Still, Takumi helps her, and through healing, his light magic improves. Takumi asks Marie, were you always like this? Marie answers, yes. When I get nervous or emotional, I faint. Takumi realizes this is because of her debt. He uses dispel magic to clear her debt, and her ears return to normal. Sophia regains consciousness and feels confused. What am I doing here? Marie tells her that Takumi brought her. Sophia sees her restored ear markings, and is shocked that her vow seal is gone. She apologizes and thanks Takumi. Takumi says, I think you misunderstood me. Actually, I was just leveling up by clearing your debt. I was cutting and healing my hand repeatedly to level up. Sophia starts crying and promises to serve Takumi forever. The goddess watches and smiles with joy. And just like that, the episode ends here. If you enjoyed this explanation, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss our next video.